Good afternoon. Wanted to send one out just from the a little bit different than the last few that I've done. Okay. Here in Michigan, the last few days we've had, all day rainfall, like 3 days straight. And now, after that, the sky that I saw this morning was a bluer blue than I've seen in quite a long time. So my suspicion is that the smart dust, the chemtrails that they pump into the atmosphere, that smart dust is pulled down with the rain. And when that smart dust is pulled down, it's obviously no longer suspended in the atmosphere. And so I think what we've had the last few days is that they were focusing HAARP in a different area of the world. And the rainfall we've had was just sort of the residual effects of the rain. And now we're seeing, I can show you. I could show you what some of these clouds are developing to look like. So some of these, and if you notice, if you can see in between those puffy clouds right there, I don't know if I'm getting it, but you'll see the chem cloud behind it. And if you were able to see in behind these clouds over here, you would see the 3 lines of planes that have been pumping over there. So I think what we've got is, because the pardon me, because the rain has brought the smart dust out that's been suspended up there for quite some time, because they've been hitting us heavy for the last 6 months. But see, the thing is everything they do has got multiple layers to it. And I think a lot of what they're doing is not only to suspend the dust in the atmosphere, but it's also to terraform the planet. 2016 will be the hottest year on record since they started keeping records over 135 years ago. And here it is, October 2nd in the Detroit area, and it's supposed to be almost 70 degrees today. Dude, normally we're lucky to hit high 50s at this time of year. And see, some of the research that I've been doing, that's where I'm going with some of the, when I say it's going to be a little different than what I've done in the past, is to try to put out there sort of an explanation of who I think, or what I think, in regards to our existence. It's almost like, if you could imagine, before you became a person, a human on this planet, in this 3D 5-sense reality, before then, you were awareness. You didn't necessarily have a corporeal body, but you were aware and alive and an entity. And I think what happens is, if you could imagine, we're all sitting around in sort of this, just sort of a conference room, and almost like when you're, when you're heading off to college and they've got all their little different clubs set up, where you can walk up and look at each of the different clubs, or, sororities or fraternities or what have you, and you can gather information about each. And then you make a decision. Yeah, I'm going to try to be part of this fraternity, and I'm going to try to join the chess club, or, any of those types of things. Holy shit, I should get a picture of that. Yeah. Well, just to add emphasis, just so you can see you can see sorry to switch subjects on you, but that chem cloud just became so apparent as these others moved. But, that's where you can see the difference between the two. But anyhow, I digress. What we're looking at is the existence that, we can choose as each one of those sort of clubs that we can choose from. And so as we're in our conference room before, we move to this 3D reality, we choose the life that we're going to lead. And, we fully understand what we're getting into. And we fully understand what our agreement is. But see, because of the rules of the 3D 5-sense reality, we have to forget once we enter into the body we're in. And so once we make that transition, we forget what we knew, or we forget who we were before we are what we are. And sort of the path of life is to try to rediscover that, or to try to remember that sort of existence. And that's why in world events, because the world that we're in now, it was patterned off of fourth dimensional rules. And the fourth dimensional rules are the strife and the warring factions and all the emotions that go along with that. And that's what this reality was based on, is those fourth dimensional rules. Because the people or the entities that control, like the Illuminati, that are behind the scenes, they are fourth dimensional entities. And so, in a roundabout way, I'm coming back to the real meaning of, sending this video out is, I'm sort of putting a call out to see if we can collectively gather together to try to remember who we were. And a lot of that is done through meditation. And I was one, not too far back, where, I just thought that meditation and the ascended masters and these different realities and, the power of the crystals and the mind, I was locked into the programming like most everybody is. And I would have told you then that that's a bunch of hocus pocus. However, the more I travel down the path that I'm going, and the more interaction I'm getting from people through the social media platforms, the more I'm coming to realize that the reality that we're in, it's, the movie The Matrix is a very good example, or a very good analogy. And, in that movie, the main character is caught in the holographic reality that he's in, and eventually he gets to the point where he can see the matrix for the binary code that it is. And I think as we train our minds and our souls to remember who we were, then we get closer to seeing the matrix for the binary code and not the holographic presentation that's given to us. And so where I'm going with this is that if everything resonates, and as you quiet your mind and you go within to explore what's without, or what's on the outside, you have to go in order to be able to understand. And there was a happening that occurred in 1987, and what it was is there was a lot of the ascended masters, or these esoteric sort of groups put out a call worldwide to for a group meditation at a particular time, which was 11/11, and I believe this was like April 10th of 1987. And what it was is they wanted to collectively gather these groups at certain focal points on the planet, and they were trying to heal the planet. And they named the gathering the Harmonic Convergence. And so myself, I've taken to, because for years and years and years and years and years, whenever I'd see 11/11 on the television, or pardon me, on the radio or on the clock, or wherever, on the gas pump, on the register, wherever it might have shown up, I always felt, and I've explained this to people, that was the moment in time when you saw that. You actually had to physically see it, sort of on a quantum physics kind of thing. Once you saw it, that was the exact moment when everything in the universe was in balance. Everything in the universe was in harmony. And then I come to find out, I've been saying that since I was 15, 16, and here 30 years later, I find out that there was something that occurred that they actually call the harmonic convergence. So I've taken to, every time I see 11/11 on anything, I'm calling it the harmonic convergence. And I saw it this morning on my screensaver. I saw it this morning on my radio. I saw it last night on my screensaver. I saw it yesterday morning on my radio. I saw it on a timestamp from a voice note I got from another friend. So in the last, day and a half, I've physically seen 11/11 5 times. And not that necessarily makes any difference to anybody else, but for me, it's resonating that, because I read in an article that 11/11 in numerology, 11 is the number for illumination. So 11/11 is like illumination squared. So the ramblings that I'm doing now, it's leading towards, if we can all kind of begin to research or try to discover who we were before we are what we are, and that's done through meditation, maybe we can, because we can, through our frequencies, through our power, we can heal the planet, and we can combat the chemtrails, and we can combat the reptilians, and we can combat those entities that are trying to maintain those fourth dimensional rules. And we can allow for our collective conscious to be raised to the point where we're ready to move into the fifth dimension, and we're ready to move into the galactic community. But it all begins with each one of us, and discovering what resonates with each of us. And then once we can do that, then we can collectively, move towards a greater or higher consciousness. And I think with that, it's, each one of us, if we just, start a YouTube channel, because even just seeing individuals can help resonate their frequency to others. And so once we can find a balance, then we can collectively use that power. So I guess that's, I hope I explained, or was able to convey something, again, a little different than what I usually do, but I think I'm growing in my consciousness, and I'm trying to spread that out. So, making a YouTube video and popping it on YouTube so everyone can see, I think is a great way to kind of express your consciousness to others. And so, anyhow, I hope that helps, and have a great day.